Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. Yesterday, there were massive protests by public servants against William Ruto on the Finance Bill 2023, and more specifically on the 3% housing levy. In this video, I want us to dig deep into this story for Kenyans to understand what the protests mean. Before we do that, let's have a look at this clip. That was yesterday. What does that mean politically? Let me start by reminding those who might not know that on Sunday, we started a medical appeal for Nudin Salash from Kajiado, who is to undergo a kidney transplant at Medihill Hospital Parklands. The amount required, the balance, is 1 million Kenya shillings, and I know through this forum, we can help the family of Nudin raise the 1 million Kenya shillings balance. And already, a good number of us here are contributing willingly, which is very encouraging. Any other person who wish to send his or her contribution, send all your contributions to 0722 735 065. 0722 735 065. Let's help Nujin undergo a kidney transplant. All your contributions will highly be appreciated. Let's help Nudin. Let's now jump to our analysis. Yes, those are civil servants telling William Ruto clearly in broad daylight that it's a very big no. A very big no. And actually, if you look at the Finance Bill 2023, it makes no sense at all. Look at, for example, the 3% housing levy. Why is Ruto forcing Kenyans to save and forcing them to save for housing? I believe that it's up to each and every person to decide whether to save or not, and to decide on which thing he wants to save on. Why is William Ruto forcing Kenyans to save? It makes no sense at all. And even that 3% housing levy, it's something that is completely misplaced. If you look at a person earning, for example, 10,000 in a month, or even 20,000, or even 50, or even 100,000 in a month, if you deduct 3% from that person, it will take so many years for that person to accumulate enough amount to buy a house. Because right now, the cheapest house goes for around 3 million Kenya shillings. it will take that person so many years in order to accumulate enough funds to buy that kind of a house. So it's actually not true that through that scheme you can save to buy a house. It's completely not true. In fact, it's not true. And besides all that, if you look on how William Ruto and his team have been pushing this housing levy, it's as if William Ruto is using the same trick he used when he was campaigning for the presidency. When he was campaigning, he brought the narrative of hustlers versus dynasty, a very divisive narrative. And some Kenyans believed him and voted for him. Now that he's the president, the Kenyans, or those Kenyans who believed him, are now regretting for having believed him and voted for him. He has completely changed from a William Ruto was promising heaven to the hustlers. We remember he told them he was going to form a government with them. If you look at the government appointments William Ruto is making in his government, he is only appointing millionaires and billionaires, his close friends and associates. Hustlers are left on their own. On the housing levy, William Ruto some few days ago started a narrative that is now about those with pay slips against those without pay slips. And he was saying that those with pay slips are jealous of those without pay slips. Another divisive narrative. So it comes out automatically that William Ruto thrives in divisive narratives. And that's very unfortunate for somebody calling himself a president. Ruto should be a symbol of national unity. But it's very unfortunate that anytime William Ruto opens his mouth to speak, he must coin a divisive narrative for Kenyans to listen to him. That's very unfortunate. That proves William Ruto is not a leader who is worth occupying that office of the president. He is clearly somebody dividing the people. And it appears William Ruto has also taught his lieutenants that art of divisive politics. Listening to Rigathi Gachagua and some of William Ruto's allies, they have also adopted that divisive narrative. Anytime Rigathi is on the mountain, he wants to antagonize, or rather he wants to use division to get fame or popularity on the mountain. Recently, he has been attacking Uhuru Kenyatta as the person responsible for the re-emergence of Mungiki. And if you look at it very objectively, it's a fact that Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto, they are trying to use that narrative because they know residents of the mountain are not happy with the government. The government has lied to them. So anybody critical of this government, more so on the mountain, that person is to be branded Amungiki. And that's just a way of actually silencing government's critiques more so on the mountain. And Rigathi has been trying to rope in Uhuru Kenyatta into all that scheme. So it's also coming out very clearly that without a divisive narrative, William Ruto has no language or no formula on how to talk to the people. He knows the people will not listen to him unless he brings up a very divisive narrative. If it's not Raila Odinga and his father who have been disturbing the country since independence, it's now Uhuru Kenyatta. I believe that it's now high time Kenyans to say no to this nonsensical political antics by William Ruto and his team. Kenyans should demand of William Ruto to be a unifier, not a leader consistently dividing the people, pitting groups against groups. It's not bad to criticize the government. Rigathi and his team, They want to make it now appear that anybody critical of the government, if you come from the mountain, then you are a Mungiki. I think this is very bad and should not be encouraged. If Kenyans are silent, then we are seeing before our own eyes dictatorship emerging, which is very, very unfortunate. As I conclude, it's now a fact William Ruto and his team were not ready, not prepared to form a government. They are completely very clueless on how to address or solve the issues Kenyans have been raising. They are completely clueless. And just as I've been saying, it's a fact that as time goes by, any person or any leader associating with William Ruto will find the ground very, very hostile to him. And we have already seen that in Kakamega, where Boni Aluale, Cleophas Malala, and Kenya Kwanza leaders were badly heckled. And we also saw that in Kisumu, where Tom Ojienda had it very hard, or rather found it very hard on the ground. Ojienda, we know, is working with Ruto's government. So as time goes by, anybody supporting William Ruto will find the ground very hostile. And besides all that, you are seeing clearly that as time goes by, Ruto will not even need Raila Odinga for Kenyans to rebel against him. It's a fact that Kenyans themselves, without even the politicians, will take to the streets to rebel against William Ruto. And already, the civil servants have shown that as time goes by, as Ruto's government continue performing dismally the way they're doing, Kenyans themselves, without even being incited by the politicians, they will take to the streets to rebel against William Ruto. And when it reaches that point, William Ruto should be rest assured that he will have no option but to surrender. Because I believe that if all civil servants in Kenya can go on strike, and not only civil servants, Kenyans across board are not happy with Ruto's government. If Kenyans can all gang up against Ruto's oppressive regime, Ruto will have no option but to surrender. He will not need Raila Odinga to lead the rebellion. Kenyans themselves will rebel against William Ruto. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. But just as I did indicate when we were starting, let's help Nudin Salash undergo a kidney transplant. The required balance now is about 1 million Kenya shillings, which I know we can easily raise through this forum. Channel all your contributions to 0722 735 065. Let's help Nudin undergo a kidney transplant. All your contributions will highly be appreciated. Thank you. God bless you.